Daily habits that restore emotional energy in Ayurveda for everyday life. That's the topic for today. Have you noticed how often we tell ourselves that next week will be different? Next week we will slow down. Next week we will eat better. Next week we'll spend more time in nature. Next week we will finally start looking after ourselves. And then next week arrives, looking surprisingly like this week. We are still busy, still responding to everyone else's priorities, still promising ourselves that we will get to our own well-being later. If that sounds familiar, you are certainly not alone. One of the patterns I see again and again in my practice is that people don't necessarily need another health tip. They don't usually need a more complicated routine either. They need a rhythm that supports them instead of constantly draining them. One of the things about Ayurveda is that it doesn't ask us to become different people overnight. It simply asks, how are you living each day? Because our health is rarely shaped by what we do once in a while. It is shaped by what we repeat every day. So today I would like to share 5 simple daily practices that can help restore your emotional energy. None of them are difficult. None require expensive equipment. But together, they can make a remarkable difference to the way you feel. So number 1 is begin the day by connecting with yourself before connecting with the world. For many people, the first thing they do each morning is reach for their phone. Within minutes, they are reading emails, checking messages, or scrolling through social media. Before they have even taken a full breath, their attention belongs to everyone else. So imagine beginning the day differently. Before looking at a screen, spend just 2 or 3 quiet minutes with yourself. Notice your breathing. Notice how your body feels. Notice what emotions are present without trying to change them. Then ask yourself one simple question. How do I want to show up today? Not what do I have to get done, but how do I want to be? Calm, patient, focused, present. That simple question changes the direction of the day. Instead of reacting from the moment you wake up, you begin with awareness. Ayurveda has always valued this transition between sleep and activity because the way we begin often influences everything that follows. Number 2 is eat in a way that nourishes both your body and your mind. Food is one of the most powerful medicines we have. But nourishment is about more than what's on the plate. It is also about the way we eat. I often meet people who tell me they eat healthy food. Then they explain that breakfast is eaten while answering emails. Lunch happens in front of a computer. Dinner is in front of TV or endless scrolling. The body receives the food. The mind never really arrives for the meal. Ayurveda encourages something beautifully simple. Sit down, pause for a moment before eating, take one slow breath. Notice the colors on your plate. Notice the aroma. Chew your food well. This isn't about being perfect, it is about reminding your nervous system that this is a time for nourishment rather than another task to complete. Good digestion isn't only influenced by what we eat, it is also influenced by the state we are in while eating. Number 3 is create small moments that calm your nervous system. When people think about improving their health, they often imagine they need an hour of yoga or meditation. Those practices are wonderful, I must say, but don't underestimate what even 1 minute can do. 1 minute of conscious breathing, 1 minute standing outside in the fresh air, 1 minute stretching after sitting for too long, 1 minute of simply looking up at the sky. These moments interrupt the constant momentum of the day. One of the reasons conscious breathing is so effective is that it sends a message to your nervous system that you are safe. When we are stressed, the breath naturally becomes quicker and shallower. When we slow the breath, the body begins to respond differently. A practice I often recommend is very simple. Breathe in gently through the nose. Allow your out breath to become slightly longer than your in breath. And repeat this 5 times. That's all. It won't solve every challenge in your life, but it often changes the way you meet those challenges. Sometimes that is exactly what we need. And if you do know pranayam, then Bhramari pranayam for 7 breaths or 11 breaths can be another simple practice. There's another simple form of movement that I think many people overlook: walking. Not walking while talking on the phone, not walking while checking messages. Just walk. Notice the trees, notice the breeze, notice your footsteps. Nature has its own rhythm. The more time we spend in it, the more our own rhythm begins to settle. That's one of the reasons outdoors feel so restorative. Not because nature changes us instantly, but because it gently reminds us of a pace that our body already understands. One of the things I appreciate most about Ayurveda is that it doesn't separate these practices. Breathing, movement, food, rest, they are all connected. Each one supports others, and none of them need to be dramatic. Small, repeated practices are often far more powerful than occasional grand efforts. That's how we begin restoring emotional energy, one ordinary day at a time. And number 4 is make space for deep rest, not just sleep. One of the questions I'm often asked is, why do I still feel tired even though I'm sleeping? Sleeping is of course essential, but emotional recovery requires more than simply closing our eyes. Many people go to bed physically tired but mentally wide awake. They are replaying conversations, planning tomorrow, thinking about family, thinking about work. The body is in bed, the mind is still running. This is where practices like Yoga Nidra can be really valuable. People sometimes describe Yoga Nidra as guided relaxation, but I see it differently. It teaches the body how to rest deeply while the mind becomes quietly aware. Over the years, I have watched people discover something quite remarkable. They don't simply feel more rested afterwards, they become less reactive. They recover from stressful situations more quickly. They sleep more deeply. Their thinking becomes clearer. Life doesn't suddenly become easier, but they meet life differently. Deep rest doesn't remove challenges. It changes the quality of our response to them. Even if Yoga Nidra isn't part of your routine yet, ask yourself this: where do I experience genuine rest? Not distraction, not scrolling, not binge watching another series, real rest. Some people find it sitting in the garden. For others, it is prayer, reading, listening to calming music, watching the ocean. Whatever helps your nervous system settle. Make room for it regularly. We often think rest is something we earn after we have finished everything. The truth is, the work is rarely ever finished. Rest isn't a reward, it is part of living well. And number 5, what I want to talk about is learn to end the day well. Most of us have a morning routine, very few of us have an evening one. But the way we finish the day has a profound influence on how we begin the next day. Many people continue answering emails until bedtime, or watching the news, or scrolling through social media. The body is trying to prepare for sleep while the mind is still being stimulated. Ayurveda encourages us to create a gentle transition between the activity of the day and the rest of the night. It doesn't need to be complicated. Dim the lights, maybe make a cup of herbal tea, read something uplifting, write in a journal, spend a few quiet moments breathing slowly, or listen to a Yoga Nidra before sleep. You pick. One practice that I often recommend is a simple reflection. Before going to bed, ask yourself 3 questions. What gave me energy today? What drained my energy today? What am I ready to leave behind before tomorrow begins? These questions are not about judging yourself, they are about understanding yourself. Over time, you will begin recognizing patterns. You will notice the people, habits, and situations that genuinely nourish you. You will also notice the ones that quietly drain your vitality. That awareness allows you to make wiser choices tomorrow. One final thought: people often ask me, what's the best Ayurvedic practice? I don't think there is a single one, because the most powerful practice is usually the one you will actually continue doing. We often overestimate what we can achieve in one weekend and underestimate what we can achieve in 6 months. Ayurveda has never been about dramatic transformation. It has always been about living wisely, one meal at a time, one breath at a time, one morning, one evening, one choice, over the years, I have come to believe that emotional well-being isn't something we find. It is something we cultivate quietly, patiently, consistently. So, rather than trying to change your whole life tomorrow, choose one practice from today's conversation, just one, and make it so simple that it feels almost impossible not to do. Stay with it for the next 2 weeks. Notice what changes, not only in your energy, but in your patience, your sleep, your relationships, the way you respond to challenges. Because when we change our daily rhythm, we gradually change the way we experience life itself. So thank you for spending this time with me. And I hope today's conversation has encouraged you to see what caring for your emotional well-being doesn't require a complete life overhaul. So before you go, I would like to leave you with one simple question. What is one small practice you will begin this week to protect your emotional energy? I would love to hear your answer in the comments. Or if you would like to explore Ayurveda in a practical, supportive way, you will find more articles, videos, and information about the Ayurveda Awareness Collective on my website. And thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take good care of yourself.